It is Wednesday, April 2nd, 2025. This is another edition of Baseball Today. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer, along for the ride as well. What are you smirking about, bud? Are you good?
I don't know. Every time you start going with this show, I get happy. That's all, Chris.
That's good. It's
Time to
energy
talk some
packed.
ball.
Yeah, it's like 30, between, like 30 and 37 minutes on a given day, but we cram it all in. So why don't we get going with a little tip of the cap to Lance Lynn, who announced his retirement after 13 major league seasons, more than 2,000 career strikeouts, a two-time All-Star, a one-time world champion, and plenty of FU to go around.
Bring out the story that you want to tell. And the hardest part.
Well, maybe that didn't come through all the way audio-wise, but he was given a FU right after striking out somebody. So we're going to miss his grunting nature out there.
Yeah, it's interesting. We asked intern Sawyer to look up if I've ever faced him because I figured I had, but apparently we just kind of ducked each other, and I have not faced Lance Lynn. But definitely a great career. Kind of accomplished everything that you can accomplish. Obviously, there's some major awards, but All-Star, World Series, longevity, everything that you want, man. So, and he threw a fastball. Like, I love that.
Oh, how about this? You did face him in spring training. You're only at bat. You got a sac fly against him.
All right.
That way.
Kind of knew it was coming, but difficult to hit.
Right. All right, so that's good. He made the announcement on his wife's podcast, which I thought was adorable. That's lovely.
I like that.
I'm all for working with your wife during a baseball podcast. Just saying.
We both love our wives.
Yes, we do. Very much so.
Yeah.
All right, if you're a San Diego Padres fan, you're waking up on Wednesday, you're like, oh my God, we're 6-0 for the first time ever. How can life get any better? Well, it can, and that is because Jackson Merrill, who actually went deep in the 7-0 win over Cleveland, ain't going anywhere for the next decade. Robert Murray of Fanside, the first to report, 9-year, $135 million extension for the 21-year-old center fielder. The deal could take him over $200 million. There's a $30 million option at the end of this whole thing. I think, for one, this is a great, I don't know how many greats I can get in there, deal for the San Diego Padres. I love it for the team.
He's such a special player, Chris. I mean, he literally got thrown into the fire, like thrown to the wolves, and came out just an absolute beast. 46 games at AA, none at AAA. Hey, go learn a new position at the big league level. It had to be so scary for him. I got to be honest with you, man. Like, doing that, going to Korea to start your career off in a new position, coming back. It was against the Dodgers too. Like, all these things are going on that make it so difficult to establish yourself. Not only did he establish himself, he was one of the better center fielders in all of baseball last year. So this is it's incredible for him. And I talked about throughout the season, we continue to see him just get more and more comfortable out there, more and more comfortable in his own skin. I saw him play live, and he just kind of owns the crowd almost. So for them to, we thought the Padres were done spending money, and they've really shocked us a little bit here. But yeah, I love this deal for him. I love this deal for the Padres because he looks to be like, I don't even think we've scratched the surface of what he can be as a player. How about that? I think he's going to continue to get better, Chris.
Yeah, there's some people that think he could be a batting champion one day. I mean, he could be. I wouldn't put it past him. You mentioned the at-bats he put together against Chris Sale on opening day. That is not easy for a 21-year-old kid against that sort of monster from the left side, and to put together good, consistent at-bats against one of the best that the game's got to offer. Yeah, he's super mature. You know what he is? He's exactly what I thought Jared Kelenic was going to be. It's exactly what he is. I thought that Kelenic, remember when he came up, and I was like, the dude he just oozed.
Oh, yeah, you were all over Kelenic.
Right, and because of the way he carried himself. Like, he's cocky, but he borderline on that confident, cocky stage. So I felt like, boy, nothing was going to wear that kid down, and now he is really trying to figure it out. In the meantime, Jackson Merrill, if you listen to his interviews, he's playful, he's light, he's got a little bit of an attitude, which I love about him. and he's damn good. And now, God almighty, we're going to look back at this deal, I think, a little bit the way that we look at the Ronald Acuna deal with the Atlanta Braves.
As far as Jackson Merrill being underpaid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's coming.
He's possibly could get there, but this is after 1 year in the big leagues getting this deal. It's that's the risk you take. He's set for life now.
Right. And I'm not saying that, God, what a moron he is, because, by the way, he could end up being a free agent at, 30 years old again.
Yeah, it's so true. He's turning 22 in 17 days. That's crazy. What's you got a $10 million signing bonus. You're 21 in San Diego. You're a star. What do you do? Do you go buy like some ridiculous car? Do you buy a beachfront house? Like, I'm very curious, man.
Yeah, I think the property is the first thing that goes. If I were advising him, I would say go get yourself a nice property right now. You don't need anything huge, but something that you can grow with. That's what I would say. You know what? Why don't you leave us a little note down below?
Invest it. In.
I mean, that could be part of it.
It's not timing the market; it's time in the market. Although it could be both for Jackson Merrill, the way things are going.
Okay, why don't you throw a comment down there? Let young Jack, because I'm sure Jackson is probably perusing baseball today before he goes out and plays my Cleveland Guardians, looking to improve to 7-0 on the year. Hey, very quickly, by the way, did we? And I get it; it's been a week of baseball so far, not even a week. But did we count out the Padres a little bit too much based on their inactivity this offseason?
I think I did for sure. I mean, I think every time we talked about them, we mentioned there's still stars here. This still is such a fun team to watch, and it all can come together. I mean, they had the Dodgers on the ropes last postseason. That's what we kept saying. And then we said, well, it looks like they're thinking about trading King and Cease, and what direction does that mean they're going? And in our heads, that's what was playing out. But right now, King and Cease are still there. They signed Nick Pivetta. They just extended Jackson Merrill. They have all these guys locked up. Like, this is a team to be reckoned with. I think we knew that could be that. We just didn't know if they were going to hang on to all their players. So did we count them out a little bit too soon? I think so, but we had reasons to. And I guess I just found some new money lying around.
Yeah, there's a couple things that I'm curious about. Is how long is it sustainable that Vasquez and Hart are 40% of your rotation? I'll be curious about that, because people can't say, well, you're being a hater. No, I mean, Padre fans should be curious too. Their bullpen has been on a ridiculous run. What are they at, 23 or 24 consecutive scoreless innings? Something like that.
A great bullpen, though. It's like not like that's right. They've shock.
No, they did. They have very, very good players out there. My point all along was that because of some of the guys that they have let go recently, that if they just any sort of long-term injury, where are they going to turn after that? And that's no different than most major league teams. It's just when the Dodgers say that was the toughest out en route to our World Series championship, you have to pay attention to that, but then you also have to look at the depth of the team. So that doesn't show up the first week in April. Maybe it shows up the first week in June.
Can I say something?
Please.
I think the Padres being good is good for baseball, because the spectacle that happens at that field is awesome to see. And if you're like a casual, or if you don't really follow baseball, then you see the stadium rocking like that, it gets you into it. I'd say like Philly is the same way. San Diego's the same way. I'd give it to the Yankees as well. That place gets rocking. But like Petco, when they're going hot and they're showing the crowd, I mean, it looks like it makes you want to go to a baseball game.
Absolutely.
So kudos to the fans, man.
It's like a college football atmosphere almost.
It is.
And so if you could go, if you want to say, well, there's a stadium I haven't gone to. Well, first of all, go visit San Diego, period. Like it's a fun place. The weather is always perfect. It's never too hot.
Second best Mexican food in California.
It's just great, period. I don't have to go judge Mexican food on this show right now. By the way, Michael King was great last night. 11 strikeouts and just 5 innings of work. He's the one, like, he's the next guy that they've got to try and sign. But I think that because he's a free agent at the end of this year, we might be too far down that road.
You just have to tunnel him so perfectly. Like, you have to really pick out a spot where the ball starts, because he can move that thing everywhere. And you got to try to eliminate pitches. I don't know, man. That looks like a nightmare at bat.
Remember, he was arguably the best pitcher in the National League once May started last year, right? Because he had such a crappy April. If he's throwing the ball like this the first month, look out, folks. Kudos to the Padres. We'll end on this note. Third team in history to post 3 shutouts in their first 6 games. The 1940 Dodgers, the 1980 Reds were the other 2 squads, and they've done it now in 3 of their last 4 games. Pretty impressive. As great as the Padres are, they're not even in first place in their frickin' division because the Dodgers, it doesn't matter whether it's in Japan or back here in the States, they will not lose. Now, they were down against Chris Sale in the middle of Tuesday night's game, but you can always bet on something big happening.
High fly ball, deep left field. De La Cruz sprinting back. It's gone! Mookie Betts gives the Dodgers the lead.
I think it's more just the culture we created here. You know, it's a winning culture, and, you know, we look up, we're 7-0, but, I mean, nobody in here really cares. You know, we're just focused on the game tomorrow, and we're going to find a way to win tomorrow, and, you know, the record will be the record. You know, we're not going to worry about that.
Well, here's a record for you, Mookie. You tied the 1933 Yankees for the best start by a defending World Series champ. The Yanks, by the way, in 1933 did not go on and win the World Series, even though they had Babe Ruth hitting 34 homers and Lou Gehrig clubbing 32 of his own. Mookie Betts. Wasn't it just like 2 weeks ago we were like, what the hell is the matter with you? Are you okay?
I thought he was dying.
I mean, like, no joke. We were wondering what was going on with him because he had lost 20 pounds off a thin frame to begin with. That was his 3rd go-ahead homer of the homestand. Shouldn't we be making a bigger deal about all this based on what he had physically been through in Japan and at the beginning of the season?
I mean, maybe. I feel like Mookie is one of those guys where we just expect greatness from, and he continues to deliver like time and time again. So it's like we kind of have Mookie fatigue, which is crazy. I don't think people talk about, well, we talk about like his athletic versatility a lot, but it's just like, oh yeah, Mookie can do everything. He's good at all these sports. Like, no, he's like excellent at everything that he does. He is not just like good at something. He's like the best at something. He bowls 300s. He's, you know, like there's just all sorts of things that he can do. I think he's an excellent ping pong player as well, which shouldn't surprise anybody. But yeah, I mean, again, I just think we expect so much out of him, and he doesn't really have those ups and downs. So yeah, it becomes fatigue at a point. But like last night against Chris Sale, he got dotted up earlier in the game. Chris Sale hit him, and so when you're facing Sale and he's throwing those backdoor sliders, like you have to stay in. Like you have to keep that front shoulder in, because if you leak at all, in which you can after you get hit by Chris Sale, you might want to leak and say, I'm going to protect myself. If that front shoulder goes at all, the pitch that starts out in the left-handed batter's box looks like it's a mile away. You can't get to it. So, you know, it's to be able to do that, keep the shoulder in, and then hit that ball that Mookie hit, which was a slider, out like that. I mean, just shows just the kind of hitter that he is.
He missed 46 games last year and still had nearly a 5 WAR. And I know that part of that is shortstop and everything, but he wasn't, we talked about it last season, he wasn't like a great defensive shortstop. I think that has been part of what has kept him energized throughout this now run into his early 30s. The guy obviously loves to win and wants to be the best, but he wants to be a guy who can move to shortstop. Guys are moving off of shortstop in the early 30s. They aren't moving to shortstop. I think for him, it's just another bit of a challenge. There's nothing that he can't do on a baseball field. He is little. I'm telling you, I wish people had the chance to stand next to him. Here actually is a little clip when I did the interview with Trout. Okay, this is during one of the exhibition games against the Dodgers out in Anaheim. And so this was for dugout discussions with Chris Rose. And Mookie came in and bombed our interview, and watch Trout's reaction to how little Mookie had gotten because of his illness.
Not great right now.
Oh, yeah, this is nice.
What up, big dog?
Hey.
You good?
I'm good, finally.
How you feeling?
I'm good.
You all right?
You playing tonight?
I'm alive, yeah.
For one at bat, maybe?
No, I gotta get a couple.
Damn, son.
I know, I'm tiny. But.
Damn, son.
You saw him give him a look like up and down, like.
Yeah, you heard him twice say, damn, son. Like he couldn't believe how little he had got. He had gotten in the 150s 150s, and still he's doing stuff like this. It's awesome. It's awesome. By the way, go check out Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. The Trout episode is doing very well. Everybody's being so kind on the comments section. Y'all are making Mrs. Rose. She's walking around here like the queen has entered the room.
Hey, listen. She doesn't know about like comments yet. Don't let her read the comments because eventually they're going to turn. That's just how the internet works. I don't want Michelle's spirit being broken. Although, why would anybody comment anything negatively about her? I never would.
It's a great call. Great call. As remarkable as Mookie's short-term comeback has been, he had to kind of take a back seat to Dustin May, who is back on the mound for the first time in nearly 2 years last night. He had a second elbow surgery, and then he had this terrifying incident where he had to have esophageal surgery. Last night, he struck out the side in the first. You could see how fired up he was. He went 5 innings, gave up just 1 run. He kind of weaved in and out of trouble at times. He was just saying, man, I'm literally thankful to be here because if you listen to the story, go read the story on what happened to Dustin May when he was out to dinner with his wife last year. He swallowed a piece of salad the wrong way. It got lodged in his throat. He said he wasn't feeling well when he went home. His wife made him go to the hospital. And sometimes guys don't like going to the doctor or the hospital. If he had not listened to her, he would have died. They said he was 4 hours from not making it. It's terrifying. So to see him back and doing what he loves and doing it at this sort of level, awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really great to see. And you're right about the emotion that he was showing on the mound last night. It was he was getting that adrenaline bump plus just like feeling grateful to be out there. And then, you know, as a Dodger fan or just a baseball fan in general, you get reminded of how nasty he is when he's on the mound. It was cool to see. That's a crazy story. And, you know, that just makes it that much better watching him on the mound, knowing what he went through.
It's going to be fascinating to see where this rotation, what it looks like in 3 months.
Where's Clayton Kershaw? When is he going to pitch?
How about Tony Gonsolin?
The cat?
The cat man? I mean, he was an all-star a few years ago and freaking had an incredible first half.
You remember his cleats?
Yeah.
Oh
the fur cleats.
The cat cleats?
Yeah. I know that Mookie said that we're not thinking about, we're just working on getting a win the next day. I mean, that's the mentality you have to have. They just must be there. They must sit there every day and they're like, God.
They're not thinking of 162, what they're going to do. They're just, it's series by series. Maybe, again, we'll talk in September about it, but.
I want to see the Padres hang with them.
I was going to talk about that, but I feel like Padre fans would hate that. Like, we're not concerned with the Dodgers. I'm like, can you imagine your team starting 6-0? Obviously, you're very happy. You just signed Jackson Merrill. Everything's looking good. And then you look up and it's like, oh, my gosh. Of course the Dodgers are 1 game better than us right now.
It really is incredible.
We're not little brother.
So the win by L.A. means the Atlanta Braves are baseball's lone winless team. The Brewers, the Twins, they get off the schneid. That's nice. 0-6 for the first time since 2016 when they started 0-9. And now Ronaldo Lopez, one of their all-star pitchers from a season ago, is down because of shoulder surgery. The Braves said, we are hopeful he will return this season. Hopeful. I get it. It's a week. But how worried should this Braves fan base be?
Oh, I mean, things aren't looking good. Offensively, they look horrible, Chris. I believe they scored only 9 runs. I'm looking at the slash line right now as a team, 137, 238, 220 for a 458 team OPS. I guess you can look at this one or two ways. Their BABIP is also the lowest. That's batting average balls in play, is also the lowest in baseball. So you could attribute that to a little bit of bad luck. But they're also not like hitting the ball super hard either. And honestly, it kind of goes back to last year. There were some guys with down years for them, and we called for big regression to the mean for them, get back to where they should be. And it just hasn't happened so far. So yeah, it's 6 games. It's you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but 0-6 is interesting. And I think if you're a Braves fan and you're like, okay, when the heck is Acuna going to be here? We need him to come save the season. And then you get the Ronaldo Lopez news, and it just kind of seems like one thing after another. I'm still not worried because we are so early in the season, and we've seen this team rattle off a bunch of wins in a row, so they could get back to 500 very quickly. But the early goings have been rough.
Codify put out that the Braves are batting 137. The last Braves team to bat that low over any span of 6 games was the 1942 Boston Braves. Woof.
1 for 34 with runners in scoring
Yes.
position.
Yeah, now stuff like that eventually turns around. We know that. I think the bigger picture when you listen to Braves fans, and we haven't really even mentioned the fact that all this is coming a day after Jackson Merrill gets popped for PEDs, so he's done for half the year and for the playoffs if they get there, is the fact that ownership has dialed it back spending wise, right? I mean, outside of Profar, they just haven't done it. They've let some key pieces, whether that's a Minter walk out, Max Fried, they weren't going to keep for over $200 million, particularly with some of the young pitching they've got, right? Schwellenbach is a guy who I think is going to finish in the top 5 of the Cy Young this year. Smith-Shawver is a guy that they really believe in his early 20s, and they should. But they let a guy like Charlie Morton walk on the other end of the age spectrum. That's a guy that has been dependable for them in recent years. So it just is a lot of moving parts. And when things aren't going well, you're going back to every move you have made since the World Series victory, right? In 2021. Like, people are still bringing up the fact they let Freddie go 4 years later or whatever it is. Just move on from that stuff, I think.
I mean, I would still be mad at, Freddie should have been a Brave for life. I'm sorry. Dodger fans are happy. Freddie should have stayed there. It should have been that way. I'll hold that forever. And talking about their offseason spending, they didn't really have a lot of holes, Chris.
No, but they didn't have a lot of holes from this standpoint, is that they were relying on, a bunch of guys who missed a couple months last season to remain healthy and to get back productivity-wise. I suppose that's a great thing, is that you want to keep, they've done a remarkable job of signing their players early, right? Started with Acuna, Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley. All those guys got inked up. It's a little bit of the pitching where they haven't inked guys long-term outside of Strider. But Michael Harris is another one. So they've done all that, and it's allowed them the flexibility, usually at trade deadline time, to go acquire somebody if they need to. I'll be curious to see if Alex Anthopoulos is going to be working them phones a little bit earlier this year.
We'll see. They got to get going. I picked them to go over 90 something wins this year.
Right now they have 0.
They have 0.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh.
Yeah. Still not worried. And I know Padre fans are going to get on us because we asked, I think, opening day between the Padres and Braves, which team is more dangerous to the Dodgers long term? And I think we both said it's not even a question at this point that it's the Braves.
Did we say that?
I think so. I know I did.
We say a lot of things, Chris. We talk every day.
And by the way, I get it. First week of the year, Padres, you all pile on. Go for it. Go for it. No question. You've earned it.
Sneaky Padres fan. Everybody knows that. I'm a Dodger fan. Dodger
I love
hater.
watching the Padres.
New York Yankee hater. Padres fan. Padres hater. The goalposts for my fandom just move every day.
That's what makes this business so fun. I am wearing a fish hat today. First of all, because it is one of my favorites. God, I love this lid. But also because Sandy got his first win since September of 2023. It wasn't his typical, complete game, I'll mow them all down. He had to work innings. His velocity was down, but his mood wasn't after a win.
You mentioned getting tired. Did you feel a little bit winded today as well?
I don't know. I think just taking more time to get in like full recovery, and getting back to my normal routine. But I think if I can pitch out there throwing 94, 93, I take it.
Yeah, his velocity was down. That was interesting. And you have to remember, he missed all of last season because of arm surgery. But still, he ends up getting the win against the Mets. What are the odds that he was facing his future employer last night?
I don't know. This question cracks me up. What are the odds? I mean, they're one of the teams that's going to be after him. Who's got the best farm system right now? I think it's the Tigers is the top ranked farm system. They could surely use a guy like Sandy. That's going to be the interesting part is a lot of teams are going to be in on him. Like we talked about his salary. And, for a guy like Sandy, I think it's very affordable. It's cost controlled for teams. So it's basically going to be, who does Peter Bendix want? Him and the scouting departments. Who do they want? Because we've seen this before. It's not necessarily the team that has the number one, overall prospect in the game. That's like teams are looking for players that are specific to their system. Hey, this is what we can do well. We can improve this on a guy. So let's go get so-and-so who does everything else well. We think we can improve him there. Like they're looking for a specific player. So that's the fascinating part. And what's happened with, TrackMan and being in every minor league stadium now, or most minor league stadiums now, is like they are detailed on guys that they like and guys that they don't like. So I don't know, man. Could be the Mets. Could be, who else could it be?
I think it could be a lot of teams.
It could be a lot of teams.
I wonder if the Yankees aren't going to be interested in him somewhere else. But you're right, because of the contract that he's got, and you might want to bring it up while I'm saying this. The thing is that when will teams be willing to pull the trigger? I mean, I would have done it in spring training. I would have said, hey, I'll deal with whatever regrowing pains there are with him. Last night, 70 pitches, 43 strikes. That was the fewest pitches he had thrown in a game in 4 years. But if I'm the Mets, based on the Sean Manaea news that came out, which is that a little bit of a more bugaboo on that oblique, we don't know what he's looking at. And let's remember, there's question marks all over the Mets rotation. Senga, who last night kind of got screwed by Lindor's defense, great rookie year, then nothing last season. Clay Holmes, is he a true starter at this level? Everybody wants to know. Griffin Canning, 1 year under a 4.3 ERA in 5 seasons. McGill feels more like an injury fill-in guy than a true rotation piece. And Peterson, I'm in on him. I think that he's a guy that turned the corner last year, so I've got no questions with him. But I think the rest of the rotation, for the most part, I've got some. So why wouldn't I go get him?
$17 million this year, $17 million next year, and then a team option for $21 million with a $2 million buyout. So, I mean, look, the Tigers have 6 guys in the top 100. Could they use Sandy? Absolutely. The Rays are like a sneaky team that could make sense for this. Although their pitching has been incredible, like that's a salary I feel like fits kind of within their budget. That could be the guy that puts them over the hump in that AL East. They have a bunch of top prospects. Like it's going to be very specific to what Peter Bendix wants, and it could be literally any freaking team, man.
You know who else is making $17 million this year as a starting pitcher?
Frankie Montas.
I
knew you were going there. A lot of guys are, dude.
Frankie Montas. Who would you rather have? Frankie Montas or Sandy for $17
what?
million?
Oh, for pitching? Yeah, Sandy.
You can leave a comment down below. Is he going to be a Met? Also, is Sandy wearing this batting practice hat in June, on June 1st?
Red Sox are a team.
Is he wearing this batting practice
What does
hat?
that mean?
Is he still with the Marlins on June 1st?
Yes.
Is he wearing this on July 1st?
I think that's July 1st is right around when
yes or no?
Start to pick up, because this is, I think teams now, especially, which is, I don't think it's smart in this instance, but most of the time they wait until July to see, hey, where are we at? And are we in firing distance, striking distance? And then they go. But for a guy like Sandy, pull the trigger, bro. Quicker.
I would. I'd go make him a great offer right now. Padres went and got Luis Arraez quickly last year. Changed the dynamic of their lineup.
Marcelo Meyer for Sandy.
Oh, man.
Isn't Marcelo Meyer a Miami guy?
Might be, but boy, you just woke up a bunch of Red Sox fans.
Why? They got so many dudes.
Yeah, they don't want to give up on any of them. They don't want to give up on any of them.
Just like this, just hoarding prospects.
All right, we're going to do some quick hitters from last night. We'll begin with a guy who started and finished the game for Texas.
And a bouncer, first base. Berger has it. Eovaldi covering. This one is over. A shutout for Nathan Eovaldi on 99 pitches. Let's
So
call
awesome.
it a Maddox.
You know, an amazing job in a 1-0 game by Eovaldi. It's almost been like 2 careers for him. One when he arrived in Dodgerville at age 21 as a fireballer, and then like from age 28 on. How do you explain the 2 different careers?
He's changed up some of the pitch mix. Early in his career, it's like fastball cutter. That was a big pitch for him. He's got more split finger as of late, but I think more than anything, he's just kind of learned who he is as a pitcher. 99 pitches right there. I love that. Do you think he was thinking about that in the last one? He's like, dude, if I throw one more ball, I'm at 100. It's not the Maddox anymore. I feel like pitchers like really respect that. A complete game, 99 pitches. I got to play with Eovaldi, I believe, in Tampa in 2017. And man, like I got to be honest with you, I did not see this like resurgence or second half of the career coming. Obviously, he had the arm talent to do it, but it just wasn't consistent enough. He was one of those guys where you could eliminate pitches off of and then just kind of sit in one part of the zone. And he's changed that. Even this year, he's thrown a lot more breaking stuff than he has in previous years. I know it's through 2 starts, but he's evolved, and that's what you have to do to have longevity in this game, especially as a pitcher. So I love seeing the success. I say it every year. I'm like, he's one of these guys. He's turning into one of my guys that you just need to sign. He doesn't cost a ton, and he's going to give you quality baseball. Justin Turner, David Robertson, Nathan Eovaldi, Nick Pivetta was kind of one of them.
And Eovaldi is a guy who has really shined when the lights are on the brightest, right? 9-3 in the playoffs, and ERA is smidge.
Oh, that was awesome against the Dodgers.
Well, it's amazing that it's one of his 3 career playoff losses where he really made his name was in extra innings, and then he eventually gave up the 18th inning home run to Max Muncy, but got a standing ovation from the clubhouse because he went out there and pitched six innings or whatever out of the bullpen. And you know, you go talk to the Boston guys, and they're like, he was as important as anybody.
Yeah.
And you know what's amazing is that a guy who throws 100. Do you know what his Ks per 9 is in his career?
I have it right here to my left. I'm not going to look. Now you got me thinking it's not that much. I'm going to go, let's go 9.
7.8.
That is shocking to me.
Shocking.
I'm looking at it right now. I mean, yeah, it's gotten better as he's kind of gotten older. Early in his career, it was not much. But again, I think that's because a lot of like the swing and miss stuff was a ball out of his hand early in his career.
Uncompetitive, as Pete Moylan and I like to say.
Yes. Right now, 10.2, Chris.
All right. Kyle Tucker, Cubs. He homered for the 4th straight game. By the way, people are like, that ball is going to fly, and it hasn't even heated up yet. So look out.
Seiya Suzuki hit one off the batter's eye last night, and I was like, that ball's going.
Yeah, look out in that ballpark. Tucker, of course, we know he's in the last year of his deal. Is he quietly a top 10 player in this sport?
Yes. Yeah. Chris, I don't even think that's a question. He's and I guess it's quietly, but it's consistent. That's what I'll say about it. And he does everything well.
Yeah. He does do everything well. Last year, he was on his way to a monster WAR season. I think it finished at 4.7, and he played in fewer than 100 games. Fewer than 80 games, I should say. He was on his way to having like an 8.5 WAR season, whatever it would have been. As it was almost 5. But he's a 5 to 5.5 WAR player.
Set it and forget it, yeah.
Just punch it in. God, his contract's going to be fascinating coming up this offseason.
I'm looking at something right now. I'm just very curious.
Ooh. You know what it is? He is a little bit? He's a little bit like Tim Duncan. For people that didn't watch Tim Duncan play his entire career with San Antonio, he was just so good at everything, he would lull you to sleep. And I feel that way when I'm watching Kyle Tucker because he's not a guy you stop and watch. He just isn't. He's kind of a quiet guy. You're like, oh, okay, Kyle Tucker's up. Maybe I'll check him. Nah, I'll just move on to the next guy who you're more excited to see. And then all of a sudden, here he is. He's on a 4-game homer streak.
So since 2021, he's actually at 11th in WAR, in F-WAR. Some guys in front of him, which is kind of surprising. Marcus Semien is in front of him.
Well, he plays every freaking day.
Played every single day. But I would say I would take Kyle Tucker in front of Marcus Semien right now. I would take Kyle Tucker in front of Jose Altuve right now, who's 9. Trey Turner at 8. I'd probably take Kyle Tucker ahead of him. And then I think that's where he kind of sits, because then it's Betts, Lindor, Freeman, Jose Ramirez, Ohtani, Soto, and Judge.
Well, the only thing is that you're not adding in a guy like Bobby Witt, whom we've talked about.
It's true.
Because he hasn't started his career until after that.
Is there anybody else that could be involved in that? Gunnar?
Yeah.
Gunnar and Bobby and Ellie? Okay.
Well, I'm not going to take, at this point, I would still take Kyle Tucker, I think, over Ellie De La Cruz.
Ooh, I don't know.
For this year?
I'm a huge Ellie guy, so.
That's a good one, isn't it?
So maybe he's fringe top 10. Maybe I'll change my answer. There's some good ball players, Chris.
So it is a question. Don't be like, hey,
yeah, you know what? I hold him very, very high regard because of his all-around skill level. But I guess you just think about, you got to go around the league. There's some ball players out there.
Mm-hmm. All right, quick one here. Angels, is this a bigger deal? Angels picking up a 4th straight win, or Eugenio Suarez, his go-ahead grand slam in the Bronx?
Let's give it to the Angels, man. You know what I love? They're giving their fans something to be excited about. Like, is it going to be sustainable? I don't know, but they're off to a great start. 4 wins in a row. Kyron Paris doing his thing. Mike Trout running around the field, healthy, looking great. Like, okay, the pitching staff's been good. Like, let's go.
Yeah, good. I mean, I hope that continues. Maybe not this weekend when a certain team from Northeast Ohio comes visiting the Big 8. By the way, the Angels' schedule, just one home series in their first 6. They had to switch the Tampa series because the Rays are trying to front load their home schedule this year to stay out of the heat and the humidity and the rain for all their fans. Eugenio Suarez, by the way, real quickly, he's got 5 hits this year, and they've all gone over the wall.
Yes. That was a big one last night, too.
Yeah, it was huge. And dating back to last year, I seem to remember this. I was like, God, didn't he have a huge second half? After July, he hit 24 of his 30 homers. He was MIA the first 3 months of the season. Then he went nuts.
He put his head down on that one, kind of dropped the bat like he knew it was gone. That thing barely went out last night.
So this is a big deal. You know how proud Venezuelan baseball players are of their homeland and being from Venezuela, such a small place, and they love being, a big part of Major League Baseball culture. He is closing in on becoming just the 3rd Venezuelan ever with at least 300 career homers. I mean,
he said 281 or something like that, right?
Yeah, it might be a little bit more, something like that. But the only 2 other guys, Miguel Cabrera and the big cat, Andres Galarraga.
281 career homers for Eugenio. So he'll get to 300 this year.
It's great. It's great. I've heard he's an awesome guy. I think I've shook hands with him one time. Would love to interview him because I heard he's got a great personality. I'm looking forward to that. Maybe we'll get him on one of those fun little things that we do on the Questions with the Queen.
His nickname, and this might be a Spanish thing, Nicole, Nicolle. Nicole? Does that mean something in Spanish?
I took 3 languages, and I was terrible. I was terrible at foreign language. I took Latin in 7th and 8th grade because my parents thought it would help me on the SATs. It did not. I took accelerated French because I had taken Latin, and I was a C+ student. Shout out to the late Pete Keene. He was a great teacher and a huge sports fan.
In France, it means victory of the people.
I'm telling a freaking story about my high school and college career.
I'm sorry.
Forget it. It's over. Now people aren't going to see how it finishes.
I'm sorry.
You're like my family. If you don't want to listen to my stories, just say not interested when I'm starting.
Teddy does that to me too, and it pisses me off. So
right?
Sorry.
I get it. I'm old and I'm a shitty storyteller.
He'll start telling a story, and then his eyes will go like this.
He's also 9. You're 39 this year. June 15th.
Tell your story.
No. Didn't I nail your birthday, by the way?
What is it?
June 15th.
Middle.
Hey, by the way, that's pretty good that I knew that.
That is pretty good. You might be one of those people. I know there's people out there that just remember birthdays.
Do you know why? Because it means that you care. And I don't need
you're good.
I don't need some alert on my phone to say, hey, wish somebody a happy birthday. If you care about them, you'll know it.
Chris, I care about you. I have no idea when your birthday is.
Right. You're like Millar. You are. It's incredible the similarities between you two. Flying private jets with billionaires, and you have no idea when my birthday is. If you ask Kevin Millar when my birthday is, he had no idea. None.
Can I guess?
Sure. You have 365 days, and I'll knock one out. It's not June 15th.
Thank you. I want to say it's sometime in November.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah.
It's not. We're going to do this every day until you figure it out. You can't. Dan Rourke guessed January 2nd. That's not accurate. So, but
well, now I'm looking it up so everyone knows.
Come on.
January 27, 1971.
That's right. You want a quick, amazing story on that one? When I first worked at Fox Sports, the following on-air people all had the same birthday. Myself, Keith Olbermann, Van Earl Wright, the late Jack Haley, and Chris Collinsworth. We all worked there at the same time, all January 27th. Boom.
Shaker Heights, Ohio, baby.
There you go. Don't read anything else. It's all not true. All right. Give us a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe. Do that for all of the videos that hopefully you like. Keep checking out Dugout Discussions with Chris Rose. Leave a comment there. We appreciate your fandom so far. It's really been a lot of fun to do, just like this show, which we will do once again on Thursday. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. We will see you Thursday here on Baseball Today when Trevor will forget when my birthday is.